In this video, we witness the desperate plea for help from Isabelle Aparecida Ferreira Moro, a 23-year-old Brazilian woman after suffering a devastating attack intended to disfigure her face. Join us as we dive into the details of her story in this account. I'm Ava, and today I bring you another real-life story. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you appreciate our work. Without further ado, let's begin the story of Isabelle Aparecida Ferreira Moro. Isabelle Aparecida Ferreira Moro was born in the early 2000s in Brazil. She is the daughter of Rayana Ferreira, with whom she shares a close bond, though no details about her father or other family members have been made public. As of 2024, Isabelle lived in Jacarezinho, Paraná, Brazil. She was studying law at the university while working as a salesperson in a clothing store. This young woman seemed to lead a calm, structured life with a solid routine. She often used her lunch break at work to go to the gym, and May 22nd was no different. However, what was meant to be a moment of self-care turned into a nightmare. On her way to the gym, someone threw a cup of caustic soda, a highly corrosive liquid, directly at Isabelle's face. The attacker fled immediately after the assault. Security camera footage from the area shows Isabelle calmly heading to the gym before suddenly running in desperation after the attack. Moments later, she approaches a man for help but collapses to the ground. She manages to stand up with difficulty, only to collapse again a few steps away, as nearby individuals rush to assist her. Eventually, a local hairdresser, realizing the severity of the situation, decided to help. He drove Isabelle to the University Hospital of Londrina in his car. According to local media reports, initial hospital assessments revealed that Isabelle had ingested some of the corrosive liquid during the attack, worsening her condition. Shortly after arriving at the hospital, she was transferred to the intensive care unit, where she was intubated and placed on a ventilator. It was reported that the 23-year-old had sustained burns to her face, chest, and mouth, and her condition was critical. The civil police immediately launched an investigation into the attack. Early on, they received a tip from a witness who had found a black bag and a wet cup at the scene. These items were collected for analysis. Additionally, authorities observed the harrowing aftermath of the attack, with a large white stain on the asphalt highlighting the corrosive nature of the substance used. Authorities also reviewed footage from city security cameras and nearby areas for additional clues. In the recordings, they identified the attacker, who appeared on the street wearing loose dark clothing, a blonde wig, and a black cap. The day after the attack, a key event shifted the course of the investigation. The father and stepmother of a 22-year-old woman named Debra Custodio went to the police station to report her disappearance. They informed authorities that Debra had failed to pick up her 2.5-year-old son from daycare, a highly unusual occurrence, as she was known to be very attentive to her child. Upon receiving the report about Debra's disappearance, authorities uncovered a crucial detail. Debra's child's father was also Isabelle's ex-boyfriend. This man, whose identity has not been publicly disclosed, was 28 years old and had been in pretrial detention since February 2024 for aggravated robbery and use of a weapon. According to the information gathered, the man had initially been in a relationship with Debra, with whom he had a child. Afterward, he began a relationship with Isabelle, and once that ended, he resumed his relationship with Debra. With this information, authorities went to Debra's house, where she lived with her son and her grandmother. Upon arriving, they were received by the grandmother, whom they proceeded to question. One detail provided by the grandmother particularly caught the attention of the police. She mentioned that she owned 2 wigs, one of which Debra had taken with her the day before the attack on Isabelle. This led investigators to conclude that there was sufficient evidence to consider Debra a suspect. However, they still did not fully understand what could have motivated her to commit such a violent act. The next day, authorities located Debra at a hotel in the city, where she was interrogated. During her testimony, Debra admitted to acting out of jealousy. She explained that she had accidentally accessed her partner's phone while it was at his mother's house, despite him already being in prison. According to her, she discovered messages from Isabelle containing derogatory comments about her and her appearance. Deborah also claimed that Isabelle would always look at her with a mocking expression, which enraged her and led her to plan the attack. She confessed to purchasing the caustic soda 15 days prior to the assault and studying Isabelle's routine. Knowing that Isabelle went to the gym during her lunch break, Deborah chose that time to carry out the attack. Based on this confession, Deborah was charged with premeditated homicide, ambush, and cruel treatment, and she was placed in pretrial detention. Speaking to the media, Caroline Fernandez, the lead investigator on the case, stated that Deborah had acted with clear premeditation and showed no remorse during her confession. In the days following the attack, the University Hospital of Londrina released a medical report on Isabelle, noting an improvement in her overall condition. The report stated that Isabelle had regained the ability to breathe on her own and was conscious. However, despite this progress, she remained in the intensive care unit of the hospital's burn treatment center, receiving multidisciplinary care. 1 month after the terrible attack, Isabelle was discharged and gave interviews to the media. She described the moment of the attack as extremely painful, mentioning that she felt an intense burning sensation. Despite the corrosive substance affecting many parts of her body, Isabelle said that thanks to the treatments she received, she had no visible skin wounds, which she considered a miracle, as in some cases the substance can cause third-degree burns. She also mentioned that she was still facing a long recovery due to the injuries in her mouth. The young woman had to follow a soft food and ice cream diet for an indefinite period and was on antibiotics due to pneumonia she developed during her hospitalization. Regarding the attack, Isabelle explained that after arriving at the hospital, she was unconscious for 3 days and required intubation. When she regained consciousness, her family decided not to reveal the identity of the suspect, and she learned of the attacker's identity by watching the news days later. Isabelle also clarified that, regarding the reasons Deborah claimed for the attack, she had never been threatened by her and had no contact with the attacker or her ex-boyfriend, with whom she said she had ended the relationship in January 2024. In July, new information about the attack emerged. According to the public prosecutor's office, after analyzing data from Deborah's phone, it was discovered that Isabelle's ex-boyfriend, who was in prison and was Deborah's current partner, had been the one who planned the crime. According to statements from investigator Caroline, the man had masterminded the preparation of the attack from prison, convincing his partner to join the plan and attack Isabelle. In the recovered conversations, the man is seen instructing Deborah on how to disguise herself, wear the wig and appropriate clothes, and how to hide after the attack. It was also revealed that he pressured Deborah to commit the crime, even though she initially hesitated, and she finally agreed under his pressure. The public prosecutor's office stated that investigations revealed the files on Deborah's phone clearly indicated the motive for the crime and demonstrated that the man had real control over the criminal act. Following this turn in the case, Deborah's lawyers, John Campos and Lais Vieira, told the media that their client acted under coercion and committed the crime out of fear, with no other alternative. Meanwhile, Igor Ogar, the lawyer for the man in prison and accused of masterminding the attack, argued that his client did not attempt murder and therefore should not be held responsible, claiming there was insufficient evidence to prove his intent in the attack. Authorities believe the crime was motivated by the possessive feelings the man had for his ex-girlfriend and his desire for revenge due to the end of their relationship. Deborah, on the other hand, acted out of jealousy and envy toward Isabelle. Based on the new evidence, the civil police opened an additional investigation, and as a result, the man was charged with attempted aggravated homicide, use of methods that hindered the victim's defense, cruel methods, femicide, and vile motives, while Deborah was also charged with the same crimes. As of the publication of this video, the investigation is still ongoing, and no trial date has been set. Now that you know this case, what is your opinion on this shocking story? We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Well, dear audience, this was today's case. Don't forget to subscribe to continue supporting the channel. See you next time.